I'm Jeremiah Boucher, a commercial real estate investor with over 20 years experience. This show is designed to help you build your business, become a better real estate investor, and help you see opportunities that will keep you ahead of the competition. This is Finding Your Edge. Jeremiah here, Finding Your Edge podcast. This episode is on mistakes. The dumbest mistakes, the lessons learned, the failures along the way. What the heck have I learned over the last 25 years since I graduated high school? Oh boy, these are good lessons to learn. I love asking people, what the heck did you learn from your biggest mistakes? And I have to say right now, it's been a roller coaster ride the last 5 years. My business has grown by at least 200%, and it's been a stressful period of time. But I've learned a lot of lessons because in growth and in decline, you always get something out of it. And I've had losses, I've had big wins, and it seems like you really learn when you're losing because you start to question exactly what you're doing and you try to figure out, okay, what the heck can I do differently? Well, the first lesson I learned is I am not my business. This was a big one. I am not identified with the money I've made, the business I have, how successful I am. This is a critical lesson where was so consumed about trying to get more and trying to get status and trying to get ahead. And I needed to learn this lesson because I was broke. I came from relatively nothing and had to figure out a way to get out in the world and make money. But then I adopted this idea that I needed to look good. I had to be a certain way. I had to put masks on with people so that I would get liked and then be able to raise money or go out and feel like I fit in with a big investor group. And I figured out over time, listening to myself and inside, that I was completely miserable. Everything I was doing was walling me off and isolating me from everyone else. And every time that I had a severe loss, I would freak out because I thought, no one's gonna love me. I'm never gonna make it. I'll never fit in with anybody. And that goes deeper. There's some real childhood trauma there. And I don't want to go to that place, but I've been exploring it a lot where it's not a victim mentality. It's not blaming my parents or anyone else. It's really just identifying that my worth, who I am as a person is not how much money I have in the bank. My closest friends in the world could care less how much money I have in the bank. My parents could care less. As long as I'm happy and I'm doing something that lights me up and I'm expanding and I'm learning and growing, then I love living life. And then I started to realize money in itself does not make you happy. And when you don't have any, man, it really seems like it would. And I've lived on couches in my buddy's house and I've struggled for years. But they were also some of the best times of my life. And having money are some of the best times of my life too. But when it gets to a point when everything is about trying to get more money and my whole identity is around it, I was miserable. Because I thought, I'll sacrifice now. I'll just keep pushing and I'll keep isolating myself and cutting myself off from the closest connections around me and I could just work more hours. And I ended up just floating away, just kind of being disassociated from my friends and family and even a community and I lost a lot of joy. I didn't really have fun anymore. There wasn't as much laughing. Everything was so rigid. I had to be on all the time. And the real joy are in things that don't cost any money. Like just going on hikes, going out and playing Frisbee at the park, playing pickleball, writing in my journal and thinking, reading books that don't have to do with business or self-improvement. And it's just being present and actually connecting with people, having a beautiful conversation, listening to them, and then being able to express myself to them and not holding back. Having a great meal and cooking with friends or just being present with my nieces or nephews, or if you have kids, just being present with them. I know there's so much stress out there and it seems like there's no time, but there is time. That's all we have. And if we just push our whole lives to get to some goal and someday we're going to make it, we've heard it a million times at all these social media videos and conferences that's not going to fulfill you. And the truth is it won't. Like right now is all we have. And I've seen so many people pass away or commit suicide. And it's such a tragedy that they live in just such a dark place. And if you keep going down the path of disconnection, isolation, and we zone out and we get addicted to anything, work, money, booze, sex, drugs. You can't handle the day-to-day stresses because nothing really is fulfilling. So that was a long philosophical way of saying that money's not going to make who you are. And I had to learn that lesson. This is for me. It's about doing something with a great intention. And that intention is, what am I building? What am I creating? How am I expressing myself through my work? That was the first lesson I learned. And it's taken a long time for me to get there. And I'm not even there. And I'm checked out part of the time, but it's about reconnecting to ourselves. And if you have a spiritual practice of meditation or church or a mentor that you can connect with and help you connect with yourself in nature, with your pets, like anything that can help you be grounded and connected is so much more important than going out and making money. Second lesson I learned is trying to compare myself to others is a big fucking waste of time. Trying to measure up to other people's standards, trying to be liked or accepted by a group that is materially measuring up who you are by what you have. That is such a waste. And the worst part of it is, as entrepreneurs, is we are the hardest on ourselves. And typically we're hard on ourselves because we compare ourselves to others. And that's the biggest sin, because everyone's on their own path. And there's so many shiny objects out there. There's a million great businesses out there that are going to make money. And if we keep trying to chase what everyone else is doing to try to fit in and try to create a persona or a profile on social media or an image where we are more successful than other people, or we need more in order to look better than other people, then it's a wasted life. And it's just wasted energy. And that's the thing that I fell victim into, comparing to close peers, and it really, really damaged the way that I actually felt about myself and the way that I acted in business, because I'm not even present there with the person, the client, the customer, or any other relationship, the vendor, because I'm just so worried about needing to get that thing done in order to get to another level so that I can be accepted by someone that cares nothing about me. So not comparing yourself to others. Who cares what other people have? It's great to model other people. It's great to learn from other people, but comparing and beating yourself up as an entrepreneur is the most wasteful thing you can do. And if you figure out what you want to do, and if I figure out, as I figured out what I want to do, that I can express myself uniquely. I can go acquire assets. I can go raise funds. I can create content like this because I want to create it, not because other people are going to accept me for it or it's going to get me somewhere else. So getting clear on what is your path. What's your path for what you want out of your life, with wealth, with health, with relationships, and who cares what other people have? This was a hard lesson to learn, and I think it's a very materialistic society, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just what fulfills you. And what fulfills me is doing what I love to do and not giving a fuck what anyone else thinks, because that's where the joy is. If you like to do wacky things, then go do anything, do wacky things. But if you're doing what everyone else is doing just to be accepted, it's a miserable, miserable life. Number 3, taking strategic time off. And I'm still learning this. I am a workaholic. I learned this from my father and grandfather. My whole family, they work really hard, but working hard does not mean you're productive. It doesn't mean you're any more worthy. It doesn't mean you're a better person. I mean, it's great to have a great work ethic and a hard work ethic. I mean, it's an admirable trait. But taking time out strategically to ground yourself, to be present, to flow, to breathe, to hang out with people you love and forget about any money or any task that needs to be done, to go to a place that has nothing to do with business, not a conference, not another site visit for an acquisition, just to hang out. Like, that is a great way to recharge, because the creativity comes from recharging, like doing something you love. And even exercise can turn into another box to check, where you really are just doing it so that you can get some outcome, but you're not present. You're not present, and that's when you're never going to recharge. So getting out of your comfort zone and getting out of your box, trying something different, like doing an improv class or going to a meditation retreat, so something that you like, not just those things. It's really about like hanging out and enjoying yourself. And I'm saying this for myself, but strategically taking time off and just chilling for a minute helps me now be a lot more creative. It helps me actually feel like I'm alive and I'm doing this for a reason, and just being with people that I enjoy being with. This was a huge lesson for me to learn because I was never really present, and my family, my dad's never present and never can really settle down and enjoy his life because he's always worried about his business, and your business doesn't own you, right? You own your business, you own your investments, you own your career. Your career doesn't own you. So taking that time to chill out, nice self-reflection, not numbing ourselves with TV, with alcohol, with any other thing that's going to distract you. It's fun to play games and look at crazy social media posts and watch videos online. Those are great. But doing something that connects us to ourselves and taking that time to just chill the fuck out is so, so important. And you're going to be way more productive because then you can actually be present and connect with other people around you when you give yourself that time. The fourth lesson I learned is intention is everything. So just because you do something doesn't mean it's going to be productive or that action is actually going to help you achieve your goal. And what I mean by that is I could make 50,000 phone calls, and if I have a shitty intention and I'm having a really shitty day and it's consistent and I hate doing that task, then it's going to come across and I'm going to reflect that. So whatever you decided to do to build your wealth, if you have the wrong intention, meaning that you don't really enjoy it, some aspect of it, you're never going to be in flow. You're never going to actually be able to live. And I had to take time to realize that I hate doing accounting. I mean, I have to learn it, I have to know it, but I have people that can help me do that. I hate doing analytics and management and operations where I'm micromanaging systems and processes, writing down the SOPs and holding people accountable and checking back in on them. Like, I can't stand that. Naturally, I'm a visionary. I'm a communicator. I'm a salesperson. I'm a presenter. I like doing that. I like taking ideas and being able to present them and communicate them. And if I'm not doing that, then I feel miserable. And it's not that this is easy, but it's fulfilling. It's more in my nature. And in the beginning in business or in any type of career you're trying to grow, I know you have to do a lot of different things and it's not always fun, but over time you don't. You don't have to do things that you hate. And if you do things that you hate, you're just pushing the boulder up the hill and you're never gonna actually ring the bell and enjoy life. So do things you love, not because you're supposed to do it, but because you actually wanna do it. I love to exercise, not because I'm gonna look good or because I can be tough or whatever it is. I have big muscles. Like, I love the movement. I love to do exercise. I love martial arts because I love the flow of it and I love to learn and I love different aspects of competition. But when I was doing it just to be better than other people or to put on some image, I hated it and I was empty and I didn't have any motivation. And I see this with health all the time. When people just want to be skinny, but they don't really like exercise, it's never going to sustain. And that goes for business as well. So it's about that self-awareness. What do I really love to do? If I love to write, write. If I love systems and I love processes, then do systems and processes. A lot of accounting people love puzzles. They love to solve puzzles. They love perfection. They love order. They love fitting pieces in the right places and having a prestige balance sheet. And that's the way that they're wired. So understanding how we're wired and then acting on that is the key to actually getting ahead and enjoying life. And maybe you're not uber successful, but you're happy and you enjoy what you're doing and you're going to add value to other people. And ultimately, that's going to shake out where you're going to be compensated because that's the game of money. The more value you create, the more wealth you receive. It's the law of the universe, of nature, of the way the world works. And then the last lesson, number 5, is bigger is not better. I always thought I had to have more real estate, more income, more success in my line of work or in the real estate field. As you grow in business, more problems occur. More responsibility is set upon you. And there's a lot of room for mistakes, especially if you're growing at an unsustainable level. And I'm speaking to myself on this. I got caught up in the COVID era of acquiring assets right after the turnaround or during COVID, and real estate went through the roof, and I bought 50 assets during that period of time. And because I was so consumed with growth, I made poor decisions. So it's really about understanding what exactly you're trying to achieve and not worrying about growing so rapidly. How can I improve on the quality of what I'm doing in order to get the result that I really want in the end? Because it's a long game. But I came from the time or the era or the social media culture or TV culture of just bigger is better, faster, more. That's all going to make it all work out. And that's what business is all about. And that's business porn. It's just showing big, fat, beautiful income statements, but it's really about what do you actually keep? What's the profit that you're bringing to the bottom line? And as I grew, it didn't mean that I was more profitable. It was just more problems. So I understand the dilemma. You have to get to a critical mass, especially in real estate investing. If you're going to build a real estate investment company or any company, you have to have enough sales to sustain the staff, hire a team, and make sure to maintain it. But also growing for the sake of growing just because you want to be at a level where you should feel like you should be at is a huge mistake. Slow growth, manageable growth, building a sustainable team, that can take time. And sometimes you have to sacrifice growth in order to build that quality. So it's a lesson that is a hard lesson to learn. I'm still learning it right now. Growth is always not your best friend in business. And this is a critical lesson to learn because it will crush you. Many, many companies have grown dramatically fast and then had to go out of business, or they get bought by a predatory private equity company, just like the case of Peloton or Carvana, where some of them survive, but these companies grow so fast and then they put in so much money into overhead and sales, and then they can't sustain all the debt or all of the new expenses that they took on, and it ends up taking them down. So growth is not always your friend. So these are the 5 lessons I've learned over my career. I have a lot more out there, but I feel like these are really, really important so that you can build a business, a portfolio in a way that is sustainable for you, and you can enjoy your life, right? Because if you don't have your health, you don't have your family, you don't have relationships, you have nothing. So it's all about balance. And there's times when to be unbalanced, but you can't live your entire life out of balance. And I am still learning this. I do not know it all, but I do know to calm down and to just take it nice and easy and then enjoy the process. Have an intention of being present in what I'm doing and taking it one step at a time, that I don't have to have all the answers. I'm going to learn along the way. This is the key. It's easier said than done, but I hope you get something out of it, and I'll get you on the next one. I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to talking to you again. See ya. For more information on commercial real estate investing, go to patriotholdings.com. Thanks for listening to Finding Your Edge.